The archives opened at midnight. Every species in the Galactic Assembly received the same data packet simultaneously, unencrypted, unsolicited, impossible to ignore. It contains 73 petabytes of information, recordings, schematics, biological data, tactical logs, and a timestamp. Day 1. The day the barrier rose. The day humanity realized the galaxy had sent something to kill them. Ambassador Thyron was in his quarters when the file began to play. He almost deleted it. Almost. But the first frame stopped him cold. It was Earth, 100 years ago, and descending through the atmosphere, burning white-hot against the sky, was something that should never have been there. A Makareth bioweapon, Extinction class, banned by every treaty and galactic law. Someone had fired it at Earth, and someone in the Assembly had known. The weapon never reached the surface. 300 kilometers above ground, it detonated, not from malfunction, from interference. The barrier erupted outward from Earth in a sphere of light so bright it blinded every sensor pointed at the Sol system. Expanding at near light speed, it swallowed Mercury, then Venus, Mars, the asteroid belt, Jupiter, Saturn. In 4 minutes, the entire solar system was sealed. The bioweapon's payload, designed to unravel DNA, to turn living cells into liquid, splashed against the interior of the barrier like rain against glass, and went no further. Someone on Earth had seen it coming, had activated a defense system the galaxy didn't know existed, a shield built not to keep people out, but to keep something in. They didn't go silent by choice, he whispered to the empty room. They went silent to survive. But the file wasn't finished. The next section was labeled Year 1, Atmospheric Contamination. He pressed play. The bioweapon hadn't breached the surface, but it had dispersed. For 3 months, the upper atmosphere of Earth churned with particles of the Makareth payload, invisible, inert against the barrier, but lethal the moment they descended. Humanity had 2 choices: hide underground or die breathing their own sky. They chose the first. Every nation, every city, every settlement. In 18 days, 8 billion people went into the ground. Not in panic, not in chaos, with precision that made Thyron's throat tighten. The recording jumped forward. Year 2. The atmosphere had cleared, the payload was inert, but humanity didn't come back up. Because while they were down there, something had changed. They found something. Deep in the tunnels they dug for survival, beneath the Siberian plateau, a construction team broke through into a chamber that wasn't supposed to exist. It was older than human civilization, older than the Ice Age, and it wasn't empty. The Obelisk's surface was covered in symbols, not human, not any known galactic language, but when a linguist touched it, the symbols moved. They rearranged themselves into English, then Mandarin, then Arabic, Hindi, Swahili, every human language, cycling through in sequence, as if the object had been waiting for someone to find it. The message was simple. You were born for this. Thyron stopped the playback, stood, walked to his viewport overlooking the Assembly Capitol. Somewhere out there, 3 human fleets were moving through space with technology the galaxy couldn't explain. And now he knew where it came from. Not from a century of isolation, from something buried in their own world, something older than them, something that had chosen them. He resumed the file. Year 5. Humanity had reverse-engineered the obelisk. Not all of it. Even after 5 years, they understood less than 30%. But 30% was enough. Energy transmission without loss, matter reconfiguration at the atomic level, gravity manipulation.
They didn't just learn the technology. They industrialized it. Year 15. The first generation of children born underground came of age. They had never seen the sky, never felt rain, never stood on the surface of their own planet. But they didn't mourn it, because their parents had told them the truth. Someone had tried to kill them. Someone in the galaxy had fired a weapon designed to erase their species. And when the barrier fell, when they finally returned to the stars, they would not go back as victims. They would go back as something the galaxy had never seen. Year 37. Mars was ready. They had built atmospheric processors underground on Earth, tested them, perfected them. When the drones landed on Mars's surface and began deployment, the transformation began. It took 60 years of machines working in silence, pumping engineered bacteria into the soil, releasing oxygen, melting the ice caps. The galaxy thought Mars was dead. Humanity was painting it green. Year 61. The population had doubled, then tripled. Underground cities stretched across every continent. Earth's mantle had been carved into a second civilization, one built on the bones of the first. They didn't just survive, they thrived. And they remembered. Every name of every colony the galaxy had taken, every treaty the Assembly had ignored, every year of silence while the galaxy auctioned off their worlds like furniture from an estate sale. Humanity didn't forget. Humanity kept records. Year 99. The fleet was ready. 3,000 warships, built in silence, powered by technology the galaxy had forgotten or never known. Crews trained from birth, simulations run 1,000,000 times. They knew every star system within 100 light-years, every species, every ship class, every tactical doctrine. The galaxy had 100 years to forget humanity. Humanity had 100 years to study the galaxy. Ambassador Fyron reached the end of the file. The final entry was dated 6 days ago, the day the barrier fell. It was a video message, a single human standing in what appeared to be a command center. The woman was older, maybe 60. Her uniform was simple, no decorations, no rank visible. But her eyes carried the weight of 100 years. "My name is Director Amara Okoro," she said calmly. "I was 7 years old when the barrier rose. I am now 107. I have spent my entire life underground, leading the Continuity Initiative, the project responsible for ensuring humanity's survival and return." She stepped closer to the camera. "You're watching this because we've sent you the truth. We know what you tried to do. We know who authorized the Mkareth deployment. We have the communication logs, the authorization codes, the vote records." Her voice didn't rise, didn't sharpen. That made it worse. "This is not revenge. Revenge is emotional. This is accountability." The Draelith Third Armada dropped out of FTL at the edge of the anchorage system exactly 4 days after the evacuation deadline. Fleet Admiral Drexan stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Talon of Dominion, and stared at the displays. The human fleet was gone. Anchorage was deserted. No ships, no stations. The planet itself sat alone in the dark, abandoned once more. "Scan the surface," Drexan ordered. The results came back in seconds. "Sir, the Draelith mining infrastructure is gone. All of it." "Gone?" "Disassembled, removed. There's no debris, no wreckage. It's like it was never there." Drexan's claws scraped against the console. "And the human structures?" "Restored. Every dome, every hab, every fusion plant, operational, repaired. They've even planted atmosphere generators at the poles." One of his officers leaned in. "Admiral, they didn't take the planet back." Drexan turned slowly.
And then the transmission came. Same frequency, same voice. Commander Idris Voss. Admiral Drexan, welcome to Anchorage. As you can see, we've taken custody of our property. Your mining equipment has been cataloged and is available for retrieval at the edge of the system. No harm has come to it. A pause. We are not your enemy, Admiral, but we are not your subjects either. The colonies taken from us will be returned, not through negotiation, not through the assembly, through fact. Another pause, longer. You have a choice. Acknowledge our sovereignty over our own worlds and leave, or stay and learn what 100 years of preparation looks like. The channel went silent. Drexan stared at the empty space where the human fleet had been. 800 warships under his command, the most powerful armada the Draelith had ever assembled, and he was being given a choice by a species the galaxy had written off as extinct. Tactical, he said quietly. What are our odds if we engage? The officer hesitated. Sir, we don't have reliable data on their capabilities. Give me your best guess. The officer swallowed. If their technology is even half as advanced as the energy signatures suggest, we would lose 70% of the fleet in the first engagement, maybe more. Drexan closed his eyes. He had fought in 18 battles, won 16. He knew the difference between bravery and suicide. Helm, set a course for assembly space. Sir, we're leaving. The Valori Collective withdrew from the second colony without waiting for a confrontation. The Thessary Union issued a formal statement acknowledging disputed territorial claims requiring arbitration. Within a week, all 3 colonies were back under human control. Not a single shot had been fired. The galaxy had spent a century carving up humanity's territory. It took humanity 8 days to take it all back. And the assembly realized, too late, what they were dealing with. A species that had been underestimated, written off, forgotten. A species that went into the ground with nothing but will and dirt and time, and came back out with an empire. But humanity wasn't done, because 3 days after the colonies were secured, a 4th fleet appeared. This one wasn't heading for the frontier. It was heading straight for the Galactic Assembly's capital. 500 ships, moving slowly, deliberately, and at the head of the fleet was a single vessel, larger than the others, broadcasting on every frequency. A message played on loop. Just 10 words. We are here to present evidence. The trial begins now. Humanity actual. Not a myth, not a legend. The real thing.